Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and I have the domino images from Calico Collage, and these are the Pin Up Girls, and I'm going to show you how to make an altar domino necklace today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these images that are approximately 1 inch by 2 inch in size. I'm going to trim them out, and then I'll show you the dominoes that we're going to use, and we'll start putting these together. I have cut out the images, and the next thing that I want to do is I want to add some distress ink, and I'm just using black soot. I am going to seal this, so I'm not really worried about the fact that distress ink kind of bleeds. You can use a permanent ink, that's up to you, but I'm okay with the vintage look. So I've done one of those. I'm going to set this aside. And then I have some wooden dominoes that are smooth on both sides. It's printed on one side and then smooth on the other. And it just is some double 9 dominoes that I picked up at Tuesday morning for $4.99. They were normally $9.99. So I hope that kind of helps you when you're out looking. You know, do a search for wood double 9 or double 6 dominoes, and you can usually find a pretty good selection of them. So I'm going to take one of these dominoes, and I have a paintbrush here, and I have a product called Diamond Glaze. Now you can use other products that are sealers, but I find that I like the look of the diamond glaze, and it works really well on the domino image. So what I have found is, let me get this open and then kind of zoom in, is I put just a little drop of glue or this dimensional glaze on here, and then I take my paintbrush and I'm quickly going to spread this around. I'm going all the way to the edge, and I'm going to take this image and I'm going to lay it on top of my domino. Now sometimes these wooden dominoes are a different size than the image from Calico Collage. Sometimes I can print them and they're perfect. It just depends on the dominoes, and if it's too long, then I just trim them off like so. I am going to take a little bit of the Best Cleaner Ever and put that on my paintbrush because it can get a little gummy. And then I have a little bottle or a container of water that I'm just going to pop it in there while I continue on my next step. Now that I've got this on here, I want to make sure it's really smooth, and then I'm going to use the distressed ink again and go right over the edge. What that's going to do is fill in any gap that might be where the image didn't go all the way to the edge of the domino. So that's got black all the way around it now. I'm going to set this aside. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the diamond glaze and I'm going to add some onto this image. I'm going to do a thin amount, and I'm trying not to add bubbles, but apparently I did get a few. And I'm going to use the paintbrush to smooth this out over the whole image. It's best if you can do this on a pretty dry day that isn't too humid, because it will take it a really long time to set up if you try to work on a wet day. So allow time to dry. It could take as few as like 30 minutes, and it could take several hours. And I found that if I move the diamond glaze with a paintbrush and then tap it, it kind of gets the bubbles out. Now you can choose to leave that as it is and let it air dry, but I'm going to add a little bit of glitter. So I'm just getting a little sheet here, and I've got some really fine iridescent glitter, and I'm holding it up and away from my image, and I'm just going to sprinkle just a little bit across there, and it's going to give it a neat little effect. And it kind of covers up if there's any bubbles that appear. So it's kind of a cheat way to do this. And I'm going to set this aside to dry for a while. I have an image here that I did the same technique. Oh, I forgot to do one thing, which was I wanted to put a little rhinestone gem. I almost forgot. So I'm just going to drop this in. Let's put it right here. So I just put a little rhinestone gem in there, and it may be hard to see, but there's a little gem. I'm going to set that aside to dry. And then I've got one here that I've got the glitter on top, and I'm going to take a old towel and just wipe off any loose glitter there may be. And this is after it is dried for quite a while. If you try to do it too soon, you'll end up ruining the diamond glaze. So what I'm going to do now is put another coat of diamond glaze on here. So I'm just going to put a little drop down the middle and use the paintbrush again to smooth this out. And that will seal that glitter into the image so it doesn't come off on anybody. You may have to add a little bit more diamond glaze. Just do it slowly so you don't add bubbles. And what I like about the diamond glaze is it's what they call self-leveling. So even though I'm using a paintbrush to kind of mush it around, that if I let it alone, it will level out and be smooth on the surface if I have enough. Sometimes I like to err on not putting enough so that I can make sure that it's not going to become gloopy and run off the sides. So I'm just tapping it. I'm using my paintbrush to move it around a little bit. Alright, I'm going to set this aside to dry. Make sure that when you close up your diamond glaze that you clean off any excess. And I found that if I use a little bit of the cleaner around the base of the nozzle and just kind of rub it on there, also on my fingers because I always get some on me, and then wipe this clean, it won't clog up that tip when I get ready to use it again, because that can be really annoying. Well, I have a different one that has dried. The second coat is on here as well. You can see that it's nice and shimmery. It's kind of pretty. I like the way that iridescent looks on top of here. So it's time to put a bail on the back, and I'll have a link in the description box to some. They may not be exactly like these, but they're similar. And when a bail, it has a way of attaching, so you can kind of see that the bail sticks away from the flat portion, and then this has got a little texture on it, and then it's smooth on this side because this would be what would be close to your skin. So we're going to turn the domino over. I'm going to take that bail, and I use either, in this case I've got Omni-Stick, and I've also used E6000. You may have another glue that is good for permanent, and you don't need a lot, so I'm just putting a little bit in that textured area on this bail. Close the glue up so it doesn't leak out, and then it's going to go right on the top portion of this domino. And if I get too much, I'll just use some tools that I have handy to help wipe away any excess glue. And then what I find that is best is to let this dry for a little while with the bail up so that it doesn't get off kilter. And I have another one that I made that should be quite dry on the back side. And then I found that I like, for mine, some people like chain, some people like cords. And I found that I like this mixed media cord that you can get at Hobby Lobby. It's by Paper Studios for $2.99. So let's unwind. So I've unwound a length of this, so let me measure this out. So folded in half, I've got approximately 15 inches, that'd be 30 inches total. And I just like to do the simplest thing of slipping the cord through the bail, and then I will take this end and make a knot like so, just pulling both of those through at the same time, and then pushing that knot as close to the end as possible. And then that is the necklace that I made. I have fun doing these. It's a lot of fun. You can put the glitter or not. They're really a neat statement to wear. And it's just fun to make them. They're great for bazaars. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm making all of these images for a craft bazaar that I will be attending in July. And they asked for me to bring Pin Up Girl images. I hope you enjoyed seeing that it's really quick and easy to put these little dominoes together. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You know, that's best way, word of mouth, by sharing it so others can see it and be inspired. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. The description box will have links to my blog as well as my social media, but the blog will list all of the products that I use so you can find them for yourselves. And let's see, my social media links, my groups are all in the description box as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll have some close-up shots of a bunch of the dominoes as they dried and look cute. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to ask. And again, I want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos, and I hope you're inspired by them. You may not be someone that wants to make domino jewelry, but maybe you'll have an occasion where somebody's going to ask, I need a gift. This is what I need to do. I need a bunch. How can I do that? And this is really, in my opinion, relatively expensive to do a whole bunch of these. Well, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a fabulous day. Bye.